Before we get to this week's episode of Business Over a Brew, let me tell you about my friends at Roberts Motors. You know, one of our favorite episodes here on the show was when we had a chance to sit down with Sam and John Roberts. If you haven't had a chance to watch that episode, go back and take a look at it. It's great to see the interaction between not only two business partners, but of course father and son as well. They really epitomize what a local business is all about. Number one, doing business the right way, giving back to the community. If you have a chance, you may not buy a car from there, but at least give them the opportunity. Shop robertsmotors.com. You get more at Roberts Motors Ford. More selection, more value. Each vehicle they sell comes with the Roberts Rewards Value Package, which includes oil changes for 2 years, loaner cars, car washes, and much more. Get more at Roberts Motors Ford. Check them out at robertsmotors.com. Now enjoy this week's episode of Business Over a Brew.
Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of Business Over a Brew. I'm your host, Joe Moran, and my guest today happens to be the host of this show, Nick Darr. Nick, how you doing?
I'm good, Joe. How are you?
Doing great. I felt like I nailed that intro.
You really did good.
I even had like the voice going.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Hey, everybody.
I'm a little nervous being on this side of the table.
Yeah. I mean, every time I see somebody over on that side of the table, I feel like that person really must be, it's got to be nervous. But you always kind of host the show really well. Like, you're just pretty fluent with it. And like, there's not a lot of edits that need to happen. Almost never, actually.
We don't usually stop and start too much. Occasionally, I've really flubbed something and we start over, or a guest is asked to start over, but we usually just keep it rolling.
Yeah. Okay, Nick, well, let's jump right into it.
Let's do.
You're wearing a shirt that says My Mix 94.3 FM. You guys got a new radio station.
We do.
No, it's not a new radio station, but tell me what's going on. It's like
it's the same a new radio station.
Well, it's the same 94.3, but okay, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we've been. Yes, is that centered? So we've done our news talk WBGZ, the Big Z, since 1984. Go back and watch the episode with Sam Stem if you want to learn more about that, because he was really a good guest.
He was a great guest there.
But so starting after the first of the year, after January 1, we're bringing a music station back to the Riverbend community. We're going to play hits of the 60s and 70s. It's going to be a lot of music, at least 47 minutes of music every hour. So, we kind of like to say we're bringing a local flair to a music station back to the Riverbend area. I listen to radio, and when you hear music, I feel like it's really corporate radio. They've got the same 12 or 15 songs in the playlist, and a consultant has come in and said, play these songs over and over and again, and that's how radio works.
Almost kind of like they put them on shuffle.
Right.
Here's the songs you can play, hit the shuffle button, call it good.
Exactly. So we're going to bring a little more personality to it, a lot more variety to it, I think. So you'll hear artists like the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Stevie Wonder, the Beach Boys, all the greats from the 60s and 70s. There's nobody in the St. Louis market playing it. I think it's going to be really good. We're really excited to bring it to the community. We'll continue to do our news talk thing. It's just going to move up the dial a little bit to 107.1 FM. So our news talk product will be on 1570 AM and 107.1. Our music station will be on 94.3. So exciting.
So you're going to
stuff.
have two FM stations.
Two FM stations, yeah.
Was that like in the original plan, or was it? Because I thought 94.3 was going to be like the foundation for all of it, or the platform for all of it.
There's some FCC reasons why we're moving the news talk from 94.3 to 107.1.
Okay.
I won't bore you with those, and they're a little complex, but really, if we had our choice, we'd like to keep the news talk at 94.3, but it's not possible to do it that way. So that's why we're moving it up to 107.1 and keeping the music at 94.3. But you'll still be able to find news talk and sports on our news talk station, but just something that we're able to add to the mix that we think will help us serve the community even more. I think the audience is really gonna like it. I think it's gonna be a big audience, and I think we'll be able to tie our advertisers to that audience too, which will help us serve our business owners and the business community even more as well. So, which is kind of our mission.
My Mix 94.3 FM, that's coming out. That's going to be awesome. Nick, how long have you been working with the Big Z Radio?
Well, I've been general manager for the last 4 years there.
Okay.
Prior to that,
AKA vice president.
Yes, I guess I have both those titles. So
It's a pleasure, Mr. Vice President.
thank you.
I'll stop.
So I started at the station back in 2001. I did weekend news was my first role.
Okay.
So I came to the station every Saturday and Sunday at 4 a.m., did the police rounds, got the news together. So I started out as a part-timer, moved into advertising sales, became sales manager, and 4 years ago was really lucky enough to be named the fourth general manager in the history of the station. So
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
it was.
So you seem like a guy who's very passionate about local radio. Yeah. So I don't know. Should I say that we had already tried to do this once or no? Or,
No, I would just keep going.
Okay, yeah, I'll edit that. You seem so you're very passionate about the local radio station. Then what about you seem like a guy who could go out and do anything. Like you're a business guy, you're approachable, you're very fluent whenever you talk, well-spoken.
Thanks.
Why is it radio? Why local radio? Why the Big Z?
Well, I think I just, growing up, kind of fell in love with radio. And a lot of it was being in the car with my dad, and we took a lot of cross-country Griswold-type trips in the station wagon. And he would always have on, we'd always find a news talk station, or we'd be listening to sports on the radio, things like that. And, to me, radio is just really provides companionship in the car. If you drive down the road and you've got your Pandora or whatever, or back at CD or whatever, you feel like you're alone in the car. If you think about it, you're alone listening to that. If you're listening to a local radio station, you feel like you're amongst friends. You're within a community. The people talking on the radio, you develop a relationship with. And I love that connection that develops between a radio station and its audience. And the connection we've built with our audience over the years, I think, is really second to none. Some of the best days I've had as general manager have been, we still get handwritten notes every once in a while. So we still do local radio things like a birthday bash. So, we announce birthdays, and we draw a winner of each of the birthdays, and they win a $20 gift certificate to a local sponsor. And I'll get letters from people thanking us for doing that. And those are just really touching to me. And it's like, that's what local radio is supposed to do. I'll run into people in the community that were maybe high school athletes. And they'll say, I can remember you or Brent Berkland, our sports director, or Sam Stem, or anybody that does sports, calling my games in high school, and I scored a touchdown, and I still remember that call. And I ran into one person who says he's got it on his phone. It's like his ringtone, so it's him scoring a touchdown. So
That's cool.
Those are the cool
That's
things
pretty cool.
that local radio does, that a community station does, that more of the corporate stations are going away from. So I think we have that nice niche of really doing things that aren't being done by Pandora, XM Sirius Radio, some other competitors that have come along in recent years that we're providing a service that others aren't. And when you get feedback about what we're doing, that's pretty gratifying.
Yeah. It's cool too to think that local radio is in media. And it's reachable. Local radio is kind of reachable. It's not like it's not intimidating. It's not like you're, big and
Right.
Nobody can get a hold of you or call in or ask questions or even come down to the station. And I think that makes it even all the more. I don't want to say intimate, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's right, though.
Just relational.
Everybody knows how to use it. I think a lot of the enhancements in technology in the last few years, like social media, have even helped to further that relationship, because now there's just different ways we can communicate with the audience, whether that's via social media or even texting, or, we still get a lot of call-ins too. So there's just more ways, more channels to communicate, and really more ways to build and grow that community of listeners. that really feel like I'm a Big Z listener. That's you kind of feel like you're part of a tribe when you listen to a station. I feel like that you really love. So, and that's what we hope to be.
So you guys been in the business for a while now, and you're right. Sam Stem was one of the better not better. You know what I'm saying? It was a really great interview with Business Over Brew. Speaking of Business Over Brew, how long have we been doing this now?
Man, we need to look back and see how many episodes we've done, but I think it's been, is this 2 or 3 years at least?
This has got to be the third year, yeah. Because I remember 2016 was whenever we first shot down.
We took Elijah a couple of breaks, I guess, but
well, I like how you kind of like put them in seasons as well. Like, I guess this would have been season 3, and then like next year we might not get started till March or whatever. But,
sure, who knows?
Who knows? I don't know.
Well, it's been fun. It's kind of grown into more than what I thought it was going to be when I first thought of the idea. I originally had just thought this would be a great audio thing we'll do, and the first couple episodes we did that you weren't involved in were audio only. We actually recorded them in our production studio, and I put sound effects underneath them to make it sound like we were in a bar having a beer.
No, you put like a clap track or something, or like
just
audio track,
restaurant ambiance.
People like
yes, right, yes.
That's good. I didn't know that.
And then I put a sound effect of glasses clinking before and after the interview.
Right.
So I was like, business after a brew. We didn't even drink. So
that's awesome. You weren't even drinking. It was business over a brew.
Right.
We were having water in plastic cups.
You really took it to a whole nother level.
Well, I'm I guess impressed with the fact that we've kept it going this far, because it has been about 3 years and still going. I mean, I don't have any, I don't plan on.
You're not retiring anytime soon?
Anytime soon. I don't know about you, but I'll keep going as long as it keeps going, and it's been awesome. It's kind of a very successful thing. What has been some of your favorite episodes of Business Over Brew?
Well, you mentioned Sam Stem. When we interviewed Sam and John Roberts, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We haven't had a bad one. They've all been really great. I just like, the idea behind the show was that I love local business owners, and I like hearing their story, because everybody we've had on put in so much, maybe not blood, but at least sweat and tears into growing their business to where it is, or maybe we've had newer people on too, just getting it started. But I love hearing those success stories of perseverance and trials and tribulations, and I hope kind of the other part of the show that I hope comes through is I hope it'll be an inspiration to people that are starting out right now in business, that are trying to get one off the ground, because it's really hard. As we both know, making it past the 5-year mark as a business owner is a real badge of honor. Most businesses don't, so it's not easy. And there's going to be days, I think, in the life of any business where you think, is this going to work? Do I want to keep doing this? Or maybe I should just go get a job and get a salary and not have to have all these stresses. But
seems so much easier.
Right.
It really does.
But if everybody took that attitude, I think you'd get to the point where there were no jobs left to go get.
There's no originality, right? We're all working for somebody else.
And really the engine behind any great community, I think, is the small business community.
Yeah.
You go to charitable events, and who do you see in those audiences giving money to those local nonprofits? It's small business owners, a high percentage of them. The really sought after positions, I think, from a job standpoint in a community are mostly provided by small businesses. The names on the back of baseball jerseys are provided by small businesses. So it's crucial for any community that wants to thrive to have a thriving small business community. I think we have one, and this show's kind of about trying to shine a light on that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think I can't help but agree with you on that. Being the camera guy, I'm behind, so I watch everything go.
Right.
Sometimes I can tell that you're, sometimes like you're having a really great time with a guest, and you're like really in it. And other times it's kind of like, where's Nick at today? Like is he? So I guess, but in my mind, I'm going day to day, the grind, having to just keep going, get through the day, but then also you got through the day, now you have to do a podcast. I guess and this probably goes for all business owners, is like there's a point where you're just kind of like, okay, all right, dragging. I'm feeling like, no, I got to get my second win and stuff. Do you feel that way sometimes? I mean, what's the hardest part about, running a local radio station?
That's probably, you mentioned that, and it's, unfortunately, I'm like anybody else, and maybe I'm not, but maybe there are days where I just wake up and, man, you just don't feel like really interacting and conversing with people.
It's like you just rather sit on the couch and watch TV and just not have to deal with anybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or, I'd almost rather go through QuickBooks and just look at numbers and things like that, but interaction is not something I'm... So those have been the hard days. I said to you off the air, sometimes you feel like you go through a day and you need to call people and apologize and say, I'm sorry, I just really didn't feel like talking today.
My gosh, yeah. Yeah, that's like 80% of my phone calls. No, I'm kidding. But
so there's been a few days like that, but honestly, there's been probably more days than you even know like that where I felt like that, but then the guests get me inspired and excited about doing the show. But it basically does boil down to you grind away all day, you've got this, that, and the other concern on your mind, and then you have to come and try to be personable.
Right.
So hopefully I've done a good enough job most of the time doing that, but there's a few where I thought, boy, I really could have done a better job there.
Does any stick out?
Not really.
No. Oh, okay.
Too many. There's
I can think of about 7 that we need to apologize to. No, I'm kidding.
So
I'm
like
kidding.
A third.
No, for the most part, dude, you're very fluent. Very you're a good host. Like I say, there's no edits, and like you just seem like you know what you're gonna say and what questions to ask, and you usually ask really great questions.
Well, I'm genuinely curious about how they've done it and what makes their business successful, what makes it unique. I'm really trying to learn from them things that they've done that have made them successful that could help me be more successful as a business owner. So it's kind of like a free education I'm getting, really.
Right on.
So,
did you happen to take any public speaking courses or anything?
I guess I did, yeah. I mean, God, I haven't been in college in a long time. So I
feel like this is the segment where I'm just going to start asking you a bunch of random questions.
Okay, this was fun. I've been looking forward to this.
But first, we're at the Best Western Premier Hotel. And they have us
just
a
ordered
basket.
Some chicken strips
we
that
did.
are just phenomenal looking.
Yeah, I had them actually, and they're actually really good, which is why I think...
I don't...
yeah.
I mean, I don't ever order chicken strips out at a restaurant.
See, chicken strips are one of the best meals, but it's like a
they
kid
are.
meal.
Yeah,
it's like a kid
true.
meal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, I can't order chicken strips. I'll look like a kid, but at the same time, they're really good, and they're filling and delicious.
But then one time I came here and I ordered them. I'm like, that's what I'm getting.
I'm telling you, okay, I know we're shooting at the Best Western Premier, and they're not paying us to go on the segment, but honestly, the food here is really good.
It really is amazing.
It's a shame that not a lot of people know about it, like that it's open to the public.
Right.
7 days a week.
You know what I like about it is it's different. Like it's unique. These are, I mean, you think chicken strips, most of the places you go, they taste kind of the same, right? But these are different and their pizza's different and in a good way.
But everything has like a special touch to it.
It does.
It's like it's got the tap and grill flavor. I think that's how we could describe it. Like there's a tap and grill flavor and it's really good.
So you should come eat here if you haven't in a while.
Yeah, for real.
Check it out.
Yeah, Great Rivers Tap and Grill, located at the Best Western Premier.
There you go.
Hotel in Alton, Illinois.
Well, yeah.
That was a good plug.
That was pretty good. We might have to bill them for
that. But yeah, so the Best Western Premier. Anyway, so random questions.
Okay.
Well, let's see where I could start with this one. Last time, let's see. Oh yeah, you work out, don't you?
I do, Joe. I like to work out so I can kind of eat whatever I want. So, like fries with cheese on them and stuff.
Do you like talking about your workout routine?
Not especially.
No, do you want to?
No.
Like, what do you do?
I mostly lift weights. I hate cardio. So there you go.
All right, that's good.
And I'm now you got me started. I said I didn't want to talk about it, and here I go.
Here we go. I told you.
I'm such a rut guy. Like I've done kind of the same thing every week for the last 3 years.
Like the same workout routine?
Pretty similar, yeah.
Do you get up early in the morning?
I do. I get up about 5:30 and go. Really? And I started that 18 years ago.
Wow.
when my first child was born. Because once I had a child, it was like, I wasn't going to come home from work and then go out to the gym.
Right.
So I started trying to be a good dad and stuff like that. So you get it out of the way in the morning when it doesn't really impact anybody else's life. So,
Wow.
And it's really been, probably if I could point to one thing in my life that I would say to everybody, you should do that, it'd be that. Get up early in the morning.
Get up early in the morning and go to the gym?
Yep.
So noble, Nick.
Well, it's
very
just,
noble of you.
It makes
to get
every
up
day
and
so
do-
much. The days I don't go, and there are days I don't go, but I feel really different those days. Not as good. Those are probably the days when I didn't feel like talking to people.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah. Like you woke up and ate a bowl of like
Captain Crunch or something.
Crunch berries, and you're like all sluggish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But if I go to the gym, I'm much more much more talkative.
Going to the gym is like a priority of mine that I have not followed through with. So it's not really a priority. But I did go the other day, and I felt really good about life. I really did. I felt my muscles. It's nice to like when you haven't been to the gym in a while.
To get sore a little.
You get a little sore, and you're like,
Right.
gosh, man, those muscles are
Right.
there.
Haven't been
They're in
used
my
in a while.
body. That's like this is my body.
I wish I'm not really. I wouldn't call myself the type of person that really is good at developing good habits. Like my eating habits are not great by any
Obviously.
means.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So I haven't been able to get that piece down, but the workout piece, for some reason, I've pretty well stuck to it for the last almost 20 years.
Nice.
So
That's pretty
I
good.
don't know what happened.
Okay, random question number 2.
Okay.
Nick, how much money do you make?
That's good.
I'm messing. I like to mess with Nick. That's where we're at with that. I think that's actually.
Do we count free beer that gets included in the show? I'd have to do some math then.
You would have to do some. We do get some free. That's another thing too about doing the show is that we get free beer.
I mean, let's be honest. That was kind of the idea behind it.
It really was. It was like
all that other stuff I said.
How can we just like sit and BS and drink free beer?
Yeah,
You know,
right.
Business over a brew.
Yep.
It's not a bad idea. So
my beer's getting low. The last time we were here, my beer got empty.
Mayor
And
Walker,
Mayor Walker
was
went and
here,
filled it up
and he
for
went
me.
and filled it up. Man, that was pretty cool. Mayor Walker is a good guy. I actually enjoyed the interview that you did with him, and then him sticking around and getting to know him a little bit.
We had a fun night.
He's a pretty cool fella.
I mean, I don't mean to make it sound like it lasted like we were out all night, but just kind of sat around and.
But we were here longer than I think we've ever been. I think because I got here at 2:30 and I didn't leave, and I want to say it was like 6:30 before I left.
You're not.
It might even been closer to 7.
You're not going to agree with everybody politically, and I'm sure he and I have many differences. But I'll say this for the mayor: I really believe that he is pro small business and pro local business. So we are on the same page there. So I have a lot of respect for him in that area. That he tries to make it, I believe, easy. He tries to do what I think government is supposed to do, and that's just create an atmosphere where a individual or a business owner in particular can succeed. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of respect for him, what he does in that area.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
He really does. Okay, so Nick, I think that's all that I have.
That's it, huh?
I need you to kind of critique me though. How'd I do?
I thought that was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I throw was I saying or like making any type of noises too many times or
I didn't notice. I
throwing you
guess
off?
I was probably more thinking about what I was going to say than worried about what you were going to ask me.
I was more worried about what I was going to ask versus what you were going to say. I didn't even listen to anything you said, actually. Yeah.
Gosh.
It's terrible.
It is. I'll go back and listen to interviews sometimes that I've done, and it's like, I don't think you were really listening.
Yeah, talk about the top 10 things I don't ever do.
Go back and
because like whenever we do,
because you do a podcast.
Yes, I have done a podcast, but
no, that you do a regular one.
What we haven't done it in a while.
Okay,
so we haven't done it in a while. But like if we're shooting an interview with somebody, what I don't do is I go back. I will not go back and like listen to the interview that I shot with that person. Right. I just clip it down real quick to where, like I know where they're talking. So I don't have to hear myself ask the questions.
I don't know what it is, and I've been in radio for a long time now. I still don't like the sound of my own voice.
Oh, man. Who does? I hate the sound of my voice. It's like all raspy and like, hey, everybody. My name is Joe Moran.
But
See, I don't.
I've had people say you have a nice voice. Maybe they're just, I don't know.
They're just being
patronizing me.
nice.
Probably
Your
so.
voice sucks.
It probably
No,
does.
that's fine.
Or we have some people at the station like, oh, you do have a good voice. And then I hear mine, I'm like, gosh, you should be, I don't know.
You should do anything but radio.
Right.
Well,
Stay
Nick,
off the mic.
this has been awesome. I'm glad
Not
we
just
got
this
to do
show, but
this.
I've liked working with the whole thing, like all of it.
What do you mean?
Like the whole business over a brew experience has been great.
Oh, it really has.
And we're not wrapping it up. No,
I
we're
thought
keeping
we-
it going.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, are we?
I think so.
Let's keep it
I was
going. I'm going to
planning.
have a fry. No.
All right. Put some cheese on it.
No, yeah, I really like the business over brew experience because, like, for me, it was okay. Hey, I get a phone call from one of the employees that you had, and it was kind of crazy because I had just started the Unseen Stars, right?
Right.
And so it was like, I want to say a month, maybe 2 months. We released a couple of videos. Next thing I know, and I got to be honest, I hadn't heard of Big Z Radio because I'm not from Alton originally.
Right.
So as I got familiar with people in the town and I'm trying to make connections, I had heard of the Big Z Radio, just kind of like in that vein. And then I get a phone call. This is so-and-so from Big Z Radio. And, dude, it was like, holy crap, I can't wait to tell my wife. A radio station's calling me. Like, it was really cool. And then I came down, and we were just I met you and a few other people, and we were talking about some ideas. And the next thing you know, you're like, yeah, I want to do this podcast. And so I was like, okay, and I had just got my first camera that I could, record video with. And it was a professional camera.
Right.
But it was, kind of like on the low end of
low end,
cameras, that are out there. But I had so much fun with that. And Business Over Brew was like a really great opportunity for me to come out, practice shooting. But not only shooting, because there's a lot that goes into production, right?
Yeah.
And part of that is setting up, tearing down. So now I've got all this gear, and you want to shoot a podcast. So now I've got lights, I've got audio, I've got mics, I've got cords and cables and memory cards and formatting and camera gear and tripods and anything and everything else that goes into it. And so for me, when we first started this, it was like, this is awesome. And that's why, I just was like, yeah, go on with it the first few months because I'm like, this is a good opportunity. And so far, I mean, it's been, like I agree with you. I think it's gone further than I anticipated. And like I say, I'm like, I'm cool just keeping it going because it's a lot of fun.
I think what's kind of fun about it too is the unknown of what it could develop into in the future even, and it's probably Netflix probably pick it up pretty soon. Don't you?
I would imagine, if not Netflix, probably Prime.
Yeah,
or
Hulu,
Spectrum.
Give us a call.
Yeah, just give us a call. Whatever.
Check out our website, Facebook pages.
We'll come real cheap.
I've always said that every time I've showed up, you have like another piece of equipment. So I appreciate the effort you've put into it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that just comes with trial and error. Like when we shot at Elijah P's, I don't think I had lights the first time. Maybe we did, but I don't remember the lights. But it was like, I'm gonna have to get lights. Like you can't shoot if you don't. But then it just kind of, you just kind of grow and develop. You grow like the equipment that you have, and you continue to add to it and take away things, and you know what works and what isn't. And
well, I think what I've appreciated maybe most about working with you is you've always pushed to say, no, that's not good enough. We need to have better audio. We need to have, and I'm like, no, it's good, man. This is not, we don't have to go crazy here. But, like the lighting's fine. Don't worry about it. But you're such a perfectionist about it, and you really do care about what you put out there. You really are passionate about, making sure the quality is up to your standard, and you keep pushing that standard even higher. So,
well, thanks for noticing.
Sure.
No, I'm kidding. No, that was kind of a joke. But it's funny because video, for whatever reason, I really enjoy it. And I didn't realize how much I would enjoy it. And I think that's why I put so much into it, because it's crazy, man. Like, I don't know if you can do a podcast and you could just like, okay, good, send it out. For me, anytime I'm like, I've got the video done, ready, it's going to go, I I have to watch it 15 times. I have to get other people to watch it because I'm really weird about putting things out there if I don't think it's really good. So unless I get a lot of positive feedback, I'm not going to put it out. But one of my favorite things, though, is negative feedback. I really appreciate when people are honest with me,
right?
And they're just like, "Hey, I feel like this isn't." And one of the best people to do that is my wife. My wife would be like, "I think you need to."
Wives are good at that.
They
huh?
really are. And sometimes it's kind of like, really, like, because you were out there shooting, and I get an attitude, but no,
But then when you sit back and really, yeah.
But no, then I'll stop and I'll listen to her, and she's like, "For real?" And then I sit back and I'm like, yeah, okay. And she's like super good at critiquing the work that I do, and I give her a lot of credit for that because a lot of the videos that I've put out, she's had a say in it.
Right.
So yeah,
that's really why I think forcing yourself, and I need to do more of it, to go back and watch what we do or listen to what we do on the radio is only good for you because you're probably going to be maybe second in terms of most critical of your work. Your wife might be number one.
Yeah, and then just so everybody else knows, my cameras have a 30-minute limit.
Oh, is this we're done?
Past that.
Okay.
I don't know when we pass that, but if you're just getting audio right now,
it's pretty good stuff.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
so
at least we'll play it on the radio.
We play it on the radio, and people can continue watching, listening on the YouTube.
Maybe we could get one of those like we're experiencing technical difficulties thing, and just
we'll
put that up on the screen.
We'll just put a picture of us. Like, I'll take a still frame and just put a picture of us like in freeze frame. And then I'll be like, this was the point where the cameras shut off automatically.
I like it.
So, all right. Well, Nick,
might be the longest episode ever.
It might be, but it was a good time,
Awesome.
Nick. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
And, we'll do this again.